gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. I guess that means we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to you all. Thank you for coming in on this wonderful hump day night. Hope you've had a good week so far. I just had a lisp there for a second. So far. Sorry about that. Have a good week so far. I hope things are going well. We kind of went from the freezer to the furnace here. It's been kind of cool and pretty mild for quite a while now, and we had a little bit of a warm spell, got up to like 80 or so, just above 80 prior to the last cold snap. And then we had a cold front move in, and now suddenly it's 90. That's plenty hot. I don't know. It's okay in the normal course of things because you have an opportunity to adjust to it or to kind of grow into it as the weather gets warmer when it happens gradually. But man, it just pow. It's like 90. Wow. It's a warm day. So hi everybody. Hi Tiniest Squish. Good to see you. Good to see all of you guys that have come in so far. Thank you all for being here. As always, it's my great pleasure to bring you the Paranormal Portal. It's a Wednesday edition. Actually, my good friend and co-host is not quite here yet. So he said he's going to be running late today, but he'll be in, I imagine shortly, about 10 minutes or so, roughly, or 15 minutes, right around there. But he's got a really packed day today, so he's going to fly in a little bit after the fact. So that'll be coming up, of course. I'm speaking of our good friend, Mr. Longbeard. And other than that, we got a full boat of fun, amazing paranormal stuff to go over tonight. I hope you guys like it. I hope you enjoy it all the same. Yeah, I saw they had a heat advisory for Idaho. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't see. That's what happens when I don't watch the news, and I don't. I really don't, because I quit watching the news, God, over decades ago, because I realized that all you do is get crabby and sad or more anxiety. I never noticed any good thing from the news, so all I do now is just catch the weather app every once in a while and see what's going on. But I didn't catch the weather advisory, so what are you going to do? It's warm, and we got to deal with it. So the AC is on here in the portal, and I don't know if you hear a little humming in the background. That's it. I know, some people are like, what's that racket? But I got to stay cool. Otherwise, I'll be a sweaty pig here, and that's no good. So let's see. Am I missing anything, Brent? Nope, that's it. Okay. Oh, there's one. Oh yeah, Ruger. Yeah, I already responded to you in the chat. Okay. So we got a lot to go through tonight, of course, as always, but the phone lines are open if you want to call in. Give me at least till after the news to call in, but if you want to be a part of the show, I'd love for you to do so. If you've got something paranormal to share, please feel free to call in. And you can do that by dialing 720-923-0500. And I don't know if you guys noticed, because my my beard is always pretty light, but I thought I'd just put it out there what happened first of all before I go any further. And it was actually in a moment of sheer stupidity, and I don't know how else to say it other than I was just like it's like my IQ suddenly fell to like houseplant, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I decided that, the whiskers keep growing and they get kind of raggly and scraggly and stuff. I'm like, oh, I gotta trim that up. So I got a little trimmer. I've had it for a year or so, and I know this trimmer. It's not like it's a new piece of equipment or something, but and on this trimmer is this guide, and it's my mustache beard guide to keep it, kind of tamed. And so I I picked up the thing, and I was, thinking about 5 other things as normal, but all of a sudden I pop off the guide and I'm like, and then I was like, wow, that was really long. It was a lot longer than I thought it was. And then I looked at my hand and realized I had the guide in my hand. So I totally mohawked my half of my beard. And I was like, oh, what do I do now? So I'm sporting the pirate look. And honestly, I'm good with shaving clean anyway, but I've gotten so many compliments about having this that I've kind of kept it. But you have to let me know what you think. Do you think I really screwed the pooch here, or is it okay? You let me know. I don't know. I kind of like it, actually. and it's a lot less hair that I got to trim and take care of all the time, and color so I don't look ancient. So I don't know. Let me know what you think, though. I'm curious about your thoughts on that. Trimmers are dangerous. So does Don. I think Don stays well away from them, too. And maybe for that very reason, because it would just take one wrong move and you'd be screwed. So, and it was. It's just like I was, and I'm like, wow, that was really long. Look at my hand, and I got the guide. It's like, dope. I hate when I do that. Anyway, all right, let's get to it, folks. I hope you all are ready, because it's getting spooky. Oh, cool. Getting good feedback already. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Looks really stylish. Nice. Thank you, Rachel. And Rachel gets it right all the time. And Daryl, thank you. Divine DP1, you're rocking it. Good to meet you, too, by the way. Thank you. And looks good, Brent. Lunatic Fringe. Swashbuckling, Jordan says. There you go. That's cool. All right. It will always grow back, hopefully. Yeah, I'm just looking anymore. All right, thank you guys. I enjoy your broadcast. You have a very calming effect, and I enjoy the stories. I belong to one of the largest skeptic Facebook groups, Coalitions of Critical Thinking in Bigfoot Research. Oh, very cool, Patrick. Well, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining in and for hanging out and coming in. That's really cool. And just so you know, right off the bat, I'll just tell you, if you're new to the show, it sounds like you've been listening for a while, but I don't know anything. And I don't think many of us know anything at all about any of this stuff, but I love talking about ideas, and I love thinking about it and just seeing what we can come up with. I don't know. Could be right, could be wrong, but you won't hear any absolutes on this show, because there are no absolutes in the paranormal. Not yet, anyway. All right, folks, so I guess this is about a good time as any to begin with the news. All right, folks, right from the Paranormal Portal news desk here, I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas, and we're going to get into the news. And in the news, we got some good ones. I think they're pretty good. Anyway, I picked them, so you're stuck with my curating either way, because it's my show. And so this is one I thought was kind of cool. I didn't hear anything about this up until pulling this very article. So I thought this was really neat, though. It's coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is world's largest geoglyphs discovered in India. And this is from the 30th of May, so this is like really current. Researchers have identified what they are now believed to be giant geoglyphs. Why am I having trouble with geoglyphs? Etched into India's Thar Desert. The Nazca lines, which can be found in a remote arid plateau in southern Peru, need no introduction, yet there are other, even larger geoglyphs elsewhere in the world that have gone almost completely unnoticed for centuries. Discovered using Google Earth by a pair of independent researchers from France, the geoglyphs which span the Thar Desert region in India are now thought to not only be the largest geoglyphs on Earth, but also the largest graphical depictions of any kind ever created by human hands. Comprised of shapes and figures made up of giant stripes and spirals, these enormous geoglyphs are so large that it is only possible to make them out properly from the air. The largest, a giant asymmetrical spiral made up of a single looping line running for 12 kilometers, covers an area 724 meters long by 201 meters wide. Another, which is southwest of it, forms a serpentine-like shape with a line measuring 11 kilometers in length. So far, these geoglyphs, the largest discovered worldwide and for the first time in the Indian subcontinent, are also unique in regards to their enigmatic signs, the researchers wrote. The giant spiral and serpentine figure are definitely the major points of interest, closely connected to Boha 3, suggesting that all the other geoglyphs were created as a framework for the set. Due to their spatial contiguity, patterns 1, 2, and 3 can be perceived as a sequential project, and it is believed that the geoglyphs were created not in ancient times, but around 150 years ago. Exactly who is responsible and why they were built, however, continues to remain a mystery. It's aliens. Got it. It's aliens. Aliens. I just say aliens. Done.
Yes, aliens.
You can hear that noise. Do you guys recognize that noise? I do. I do. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. He's not quite set up yet, so we're going to continue on, folks, but that's interesting. I don't know. So it was only 150 years ago. What the hell could they be signaling? Obviously they weren't flying planes then yet, were they? No. So there wasn't even planes then. I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe there's contactees around here. I don't know. Obviously there's contactees or people that claim they are. But, oh, yeah, I got a message. I don't know why I'm on this page. There we go. But, what do they mean? Who knows? I guess maybe it's within reason that they can find out who did them and what the hell they were doing them for. But anyway, that's the first of our series of adventures on the news tonight. And for more, our next story comes from, you guessed it, unexplained-mysteries.com. It is the hot sheets. I love the unexplained-mysteries.com. What an excellent site. And they always have these quick little blurbs about so many different things. So check them out if you get the chance. Definitely spread the love to any sites that we mention on the show, because, it's a growing community of people interested in all this weirdness, and we can only support each other, so definitely support them in their efforts. All right. So this one is, this one's a little weird, but we love the weird here on the portal too. And this one comes from unexplained-mysteries.com. Woman reports neighbor for sending a ghost. You darn neighbors. It says a woman in England recently dialed 999, which I think the UK version of 911, because she thought her neighbor had sent a ghost to haunt her. She must be a lovely neighbor. The bizarre incident, which occurred in the town of Haywards Heath in Sussex, England, saw the unnamed woman call the emergency services at midnight on May 22nd with a very unusual concern. She explained that she believes her neighbor had sent a ghost to her house to haunt her. The police, however, were not too amused by the call. Can't imagine why. Wouldn't they want to get to the bottom of it? Mid-Sussex Inspector Darren Taylor has used the incident to remind people only to dial the emergency services in the event of an actual emergency. Well, maybe it was to her. We don't know what was going on at that time. Maybe the furniture is jumping around, stuff slamming, getting thrown. We don't know. We get all kinds of weird and wonderful calls on into 999, but people need to be aware that when they call the emergency number, they're blocking other people getting through who are in a real emergency, he said. It is absolutely key that we allow people who need the police straight away to be able to get through. For non-emergency incidents, the public are advised to call 101 or email Sussex Police. I got an emergency. Let me get the email. In this particular case, the woman in question was reassured about the unlikely nature of her concern. Exactly what prompted her unusual call in the first place, however, remains a mystery. I don't know. I wonder if you listen to that 999 call. It might be on there.
You know, I can't believe my neighbor. He sent this ghost over here, and I just know it was him. I know it was him.
Do you know that voice?
No.
It's, of course, well, it was a spoof voice, but it's our good friend and co-host, co-anchor on the Paranormal News and the Portal, Mr.
Like
Don Longbeard.
Is that like a millstone, an anchor?
I don't know.
This is grinding away.
In your case, maybe, but
gosh.
welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
That's all right. If you're taking care of business,
Yes.
we got to understand.
There you go.
It's good that you made it, though. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure.
Well, you're just in time for a lot more of the news, so
Oh, boy.
let's continue here. Let's get the next one up. In case you guys needed more, I got more. Here's this is a demonstration of there's a sucker born every minute. P.T. Barnum, I think, made that saying famous back in the 1800s or something, or whenever he said it. But here's an article from Unexplained-Mysteries of an artist sells absolutely nothing for $18,300. Well, I'll sell nothing for 15 grand.
I'll sell nothing for 100. Here, take 2 nothings.
I got a truckload of nothing. There you go, folks. $18,300. An invisible sculpture.
Oh my gosh.
Consisting of absolutely nothing whatsoever has sold for a ridiculous price at auction. It's sold, ladies and gentlemen. Wonder how they're going to haul that home. I'm going to put it in my imaginary truck. Modern art can sometimes be a contentious subject with everything from piles of rubbish to mundane objects selling for whopping great sums simply because such pieces have been defined as art.
There's quotation marks around that word, art.
Yeah, it's in the eye of the beholder, Don.
Apparently this isn't.
You know, if you're going to go art shopping, just remember our house is really cluttered. I found the perfect piece.
It's right there. Sure.
Sardinia-born artist Salvatore Garau, however, has now taken things one step further, perhaps as far as it is possible to go, by presenting and selling an invisible sculpture at auction. How do you even, how much money do you need, or how much money does it take for your IQ to become that low? I mean, really, I don't need this. Entitled I Am, the piece, which fills an area of totally empty space measuring 150 by 150 centimeters, is literally nothing at all, with the only physical component being the owner's certificate of authenticity.
It's authentically nothing.
Wow. And the price for this piece is absolutely nothing whatsoever. And the price for this piece of absolutely nothing whatsoever, $18,300.
Wow.
In a world where a banana taped to a wall can sell for $120,000.
Oh, and then somebody ate it.
Yeah. It's not entirely surprising. The successful outcome of the auction testifies to an irrefutable fact. The void is nothing but a space full of energy. And even if we empty it and nothing remains, according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that nothingness has a weight, said Garau. Wow. So does your con. It therefore has energy that condenses and transforms itself into particles. In short, in us. At least the new owner of the piece won't have to worry about anyone stealing it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he can't be. He won't be insuring it either.
Yeah.
What are you insuring? Nothing.
I have a sculpture, an invisible, absolutely nothing sculpture. Wow.
Wow.
In the eye of the beholder. Wow, that is so stupid. I can't even believe somebody has that much money that they thought that was a good deal. I don't even understand. I mean, I really can't understand. That is so stupid. And I've seen people blow money on plenty of stupid stuff. But this is the biggest stupid thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, well, there you go, folks. That's a bunch of nothing, Don.
Wow. There you have it.
There you have it.
Maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't. If you believe you have it, maybe then you do. We should sell quantum art. It's just the information.
Here's my idea. Here, buy it.
I'm going to sell you my idea, and it's actually a sculpture. There you go, folks. That's just all kinds of dumb. Unbelievably dumb. But we got another one. And this one's a little, I don't know what to think of this. This one's a little concerning because I don't know. I'm not really clear on the science of this. Let me look at it, make sure it's not really long. No, it's good. It says, again, from unexplained-mysteries.com, comes this article, Experiment Offers New Nuclear Fusion Hope. A recent breakthrough in fusion reactor heat dissipation could pave the way for commercial fusion power. Commercial fusion power, Don.
Wow.
Yeah. Often seen as the holy grail of power generation, nuclear fusion is the same process that produces energy in the sun and works by fusing hydrogen nuclei together to create helium. Unlike nuclear fission, which comes with the inherent risk of a meltdown, fusion is much cleaner and safer, while the hydrogen fuel used by the process is so abundant that it is practically limitless. Physicists have been attempting to build a working nuclear fusion reactor with the purpose of energy generation for over 60 years. However, success has always remained tantalizingly out of reach. One of the biggest hurdles to overcome is the dissipation of the intense heat produced by fusion reactions, limiting the potential of nuclear fusion to produce sustainable power. Now, through a new experiment at the massed mega-amp spherical tokamak, upgrade nuclear fusion experiment in Oxfordshire, England, has provided a spark of hope for a solution to this problem. To dissipate the heat, scientists use a special exhaust system known as a Super X diverter, which is 10 times more efficient than previous systems and could help components last much longer. The development, which has been described as a game changer. We built massed upgrade to solve the exhaust problem for compact fusion power plants, and the signs are that we've succeeded, said project lead scientist Dr. Andrew Kirk. Super X reduces the heat on the exhaust system from a blowtorch level down to a more like you'd find in a car engine.
Wow.
This could mean it would only have to be replaced once during the lifetime of a power plant. While the promise of cheap, clean, limitless energy through nuclear fusion always seems to be a couple of decades away, perhaps at least, this is the critical breakthrough that we've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. I mean, why not? We can manage to be around cars and not burn ourselves for the most part. So I think that's cool. I don't know. Here's the thing. You got all these little nuclear reactors.
Right.
And what happens if something goes wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's only burning as hot as the sun,
Right.
Come on.
That's nothing, right?
Yeah, that's nothing. And talk about global warming.
It ignites the atmosphere.
Everybody's
Just
dead.
one oxygen bomb.
Here, take a deep breath.
Oh my God.
That'd be horrible.
That's curtains there. Well, there you have it, folks. This is been a production of the Paranormal Portal News, soon to be renamed and retitled and stuff, if I can ever remember that name. But anyway.
Nope, can't remember it.
What?
The name.
Oh, I can't either.
It was like World Weird News or Weird
Right.
World News or
Something like that. Yeah, we'll have to remember. All right, let's go on to the rest of the show. All right, and there you have it, folks. That was the news. Hope you enjoyed it. And we have so much more to come.
Nice.
So much more, Don.
So much more.
So much more.
So much we just can't stop giving.
We are a giving parade of fun. Are you having a good night, by the way?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, everything's cool?
Yeah, I just got off work and I looked at my schedule and went, really? All right, fine.
Oh, really? That's a good way to start it all. I want to go to this. This is an excerpt from Coast to Coast AM. It's in the article from their site, and it comes with a video. So we're going to check this out. Again, I don't know. Yeah, we shouldn't have any problems with sound because it's looks like it's a stationary camera just set up in a room. So I don't think that'll be an issue. But let's take a look at it here, folks. This is from Coast to Coast AM on their website. Eerie activity filmed at haunted hotel in Texas. And it's dated May 25th, so it's brand new. It says, a spooky piece of footage from a notoriously haunted hotel in Texas shows toys that seemingly move on their own and an eerie shadow anomaly that sweeps through the room. According to local media report, the video was recorded last week by a security camera at the Magnolia Hotel in the city of Seguin. The establishment, which was built in 1840, was the site of a particularly grisly incident in 1874, wherein a little girl was murdered by an axe-wielding intruder. Oh, nice. Well, how horrible. It is believed that the spirit of the youngster named Emma has remained at the hotel and over time made her presence known in a variety of ways. In the strange scene captured this past weekend, multiple odd events unfolded in a room filled with toys. First, a ball inexplicably rolls across the floor, while a pair of REM pods furiously flash. These devices, popular with paranormal investigators, are said to only illuminate when they are being touched by something. As this is happening, a shadowy form can be seen briefly entering the room before vanishing under a table. And upon the appearance of the puzzling anomaly, a dress on the nearby mannequin flutters as if the air is being disturbed. As one might imagine, the owners of the hotel believe that the weird happenings seen in the video are the results of the building's ghosts paying a visit to the site. That's our children's room where all of our little spirits enjoy playing because of all the toys, co-owner Aaron Getty explained. This was definitely sweet Emma because she is the one who enjoys rolling the ball. I don't know how you'd know that, but anyway. The shadow figure she theorized is a separate spirit known as Mrs. Reed, who the proprietors say is tasked with keeping an eye on the ghostly children, not ghastly, who inhabit the hotel. What do you make of the chilling video? Share your thoughts with us at the Coast to Coast FM Facebook page, or AM rather. I don't know, but let's check it out.
Ghosts with a nanny.
Ghosts with a nanny. Why not? All right, so here's the video in question. Let's see. There's no way to expand it, so this is as big as it's going to get. And let's look at it. Well, that camera seems to be moving, though, right?
It does seem to be moving.
Let me just do this.
Well,
there's the ball moving.
You can clearly see the ball moving, too.
Yep. Oh, look at that, though.
Oh, yeah, there goes the, yeah.
There's the, no, oh.
Oh.
That is bizarre, huh? There's the REM pods flashing. I should get my mouse out of the way here. I want to play it again. Let's play it again.
Replay.
I'll keep my mouse out of the way.
Watch the chair on the left, too.
Huh. Boom.
There.
Yeah, that shadowy thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing they were saying was entering the room.
Right.
You know, I don't know what the air was from, but let's watch it again. Very curious. I mean, it looks like really good footage, though. It really does look like a pretty impressive capture.
It does.
Because that ball... Wait, is a REM pod blowing around, too?
Looks like, yeah, it looks like it's moving, unless it's...
Are those like just those little flashy balls? I think those are little flashy balls that just... I don't think those are REM pods at all. I think those are balls because it bumps into that other one. But now here's the thing. I want to watch now after this ball gets going and that's going.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the dress moves.
Right.
I don't know. That could be a gust of air that's being... Because the camera is moving too, so what's going on here? I don't know, folks.
Yeah, why is the camera moving? That's a good question.
So I don't think those are REM pods at all. I think those are those flashy balls that flash when they move.
Right.
Now watch when that big ball gets rolling. Like all three balls just suddenly go, like they caught a gust of air. Then watch that dress over here. That moves. as if a gust just caught that too. And then the shadow, though, I don't know how to explain. We don't know what's going on in the frame over here.
Well, we don't know what's sitting over here either.
Right.
Is there a window here? Is somebody standing there that's holding the camera?
Right, because that camera is moving.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know, folks. I'm not convinced by this one at all.
Think so.
It says cam 16. Oh, maybe they're just filming it.
Oh, like
they're just recording it with a phone is what's going on. Okay.
Oh yeah, it is
So,
because it just got out of frame.
Yep. So that explains that. I don't know.
No, those are definitely moving.
Yeah.
And if they're REM pods, they're not going to be moving.
No, REM pods are shaped like really tall hockey pucks.
Right.
So, and they're not light. They're not going to just float around like that. So, I mean, they could be moved around, but I don't know, folks. That's a tough one. So it's not like, I'm not saying no, it's not the case, but I'm not saying it's paranormal either. You know, I don't know. I'm not fully convinced, but at least the camera motion was because that was somebody with a phone.
Right.
Taping the security footage from a security system, yeah, off of a monitor, yeah.
Oops, shit. I mean, dang.
Oh.
Okay, hold on.
It's fine. Just leave it where
Now
it
I
is.
want to blow the ashes
Oh.
off there.
Well, you're gonna probably blow them in the board if you do that.
Gonna go different.
All right,
I will do it. Good job.
let me go over here. It's fine. It's just a little bit of incense ash. It's fine. I oftentimes burn incense here for obvious reasons. Let me just say that up front. I don't know, folks. You'll have to let me know what you think about that video. I think it's very possibly a good capture, but the way the dress moves after the balls move, just I keep thinking, is there something fanning a board enough to move that stuff out of frame? And that's what we don't know. It's hard to know. But that's you've got to at least introduce logic into this. As much as I'd love to say that is spiritual, that was spiritual activity captured for sure. We can't do that because there's so much we don't know.
Right.
We don't know who was present, when this was happening, what time it happened, who has checked the equipment, who has reviewed the room. Was there another camera in that room, or is it just one, or is there one that might have captured other activity from down a hallway or something? I don't know. There's so much to look into, but I think it's interesting all the same. It may be, but it very well may not be. Again, you got to suspend all conclusive judgment until you can really review it. So, but we pulled it here. Whoa, you got your beard done, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you see my beard?
Oh.
Arr, you landlubber. I shared the story.
Guy Fawkes over there.
Well, I didn't mean to. I didn't have any choice, though. I was trimming my beard, and I absent-mindedly removed the guide and went. So
how do you absently
I scalped my chin.
He scalped himself.
I did.
He's wearing it on his belt.
I was just like, man, that's long. And I was going away, and then I realized the guide's in my other hand. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But that's my my brain at work, folks. Okay, so we got a lot more still to go here, obviously, because we got a lot more time to go. Let's get back to the article list here. All right, so here's an article from animalien.com.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
The headline.
Oh, I don't know that. I didn't know of this guy. Do you know of him?
No.
Oh. Okay. Well, this is from animalien.com. It's Emery Smith. I've worked with alien spaceships that would change the world as we know it. Now, I'm not sure who Emery Smith is, so if any of you out there know, that would be great. If you have, yeah, it's going to tell us in the article, but this is a very short article. So it says Emery Smith, former Air Force field medic, also known as the Black Project whistleblower, alleges he worked in a deep underground biological facility located in the USA. Emery has provided detailed accounts of autopsying over 3,000 alien specimens. Seriously, where are we getting those? And over 1,200 nearly complete bodies. As a result, we are gaining new intel about the massive number of alien species we share our universe with. Smith claims work is taking place on extraterrestrial technology harvested from alien beings and their crashed or captured spaceships, which would change the world as we know it. In 1990, after going through junior military programs in high school, Emery became active duty in the U.S. Air Force stationed at the Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. He went on to Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico, where he worked on and off base at UNM Hospital as a surgical assistant and paramedic. In a YouTube video, he makes a number of incredible revelations, including that ET flying saucers are mostly organic and linked to the driver.
Wow.
They can be infused with life and intelligence and change shape.
Wow.
It has been reported that Smith said he was based at an ultra-secret section of the huge Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico, USA. I've witnessed many different craft in these projects. I was actually working with the craft and bodies because they're connected, Smith claims. A lot of the craft are organic material, which means only the driver of that race can operate the vehicle due to the frequency of the genetic DNA and the frequency that they are emitting. It's kind of like having a pet or a car that only responds to the owner. These types of vehicles are so amazing, they are usually made in space through harmonics and frequency. So they can actually give life to a craft and enthuse it with artificial intelligence or consciousness or both, and match it to the driver or occupant of this vehicle. He goes on to claim to having worked on a number of different types of downed flying saucers, and he claims which he claims are constantly emitting an amazing energy from space, some 30 years after being captured. Of course, there's always the classic spheres, egg-shaped and disc-shaped, he added. There's also other craft that are interdimensional that can change shape, so they might come in the form of lights, or they can manifest and change their atomic structure to become a solid. So these types of craft are a little more advanced than the craft that we hear about on pop culture and on TV. Smith claims that this technology, which is thousands of years ahead, is being suppressed from public knowledge, and big companies are fighting to get their hands on the science. The interview with Emery Smith, and it's on here, and I'll put the link to this article in the chat, so if anybody's interested in checking out later, you certainly can. He claimed these craft can actually go interdimensional, and they can change shape with all of the occupants not knowing it's happening, and then reform again in different worlds and different dimensions and different parts of the universe immediately. Wow. They have their own atmosphere, their own gravity, and they have their own little space that they have projected from this craft, which keeps them completely encapsulated in it. They've already mastered teleportation, so the body can shrink within its own living space, and that's why they can go millions of miles per hour and make a right-hand turn, because they don't feel it. Because they're in their own dimensional holographic world. They have to fall under those scientific algorithms. I don't know what that means. His reason for going public is that Smith claims the ET technology could completely change human life by offering free energy and groundbreaking medical cures. Well, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, who knows what the guy's seen or what he hasn't.
Well, here's the litmus test for that.
Okay.
How many years is he going to live?
Who, this guy?
Yeah.
I'm probably.
How many more years is he going to live?
If he's being honest, not many.
Not many.
Not many at all.
That's my point. So keep an eye on Emery Smith.
Yeah, if you hear of Emery Smith having an accident, you'll know why.
An accident.
You'll know why.
MIBs.
But there's the link to the article, folks, if you guys want to check that out. And again, that's animalien.com. They also have a podcast on Animalien that's supposedly really good as well. So definitely check that out. But yeah, cool article, I think.
That's really cool. You know, there was this show called Farscape on like Sci-Fi or something, like 20 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
And the spaceship that they flew around was called Moya, and Moya had a pilot.
Is it host a podcast now?
Moya,
Cade?
Yeah.
See what they did there.
Oh boy. But the pilot was genetically fused or organically fused with the
craft.
The craft, yeah. So it was actually part of the craft. So,
gotcha.
yeah, interesting.
Happy girls drawing flying saucers, little emotes, little flying saucer emotes. I like that. Moya, does he have a podcast now? Thank you. That still cracks me up, folks. I don't know. Tough crowd. I get no respect. No respect. All right, let's continue on. Here's another one from Animalien. And this one is from 2014, September 23rd, 2014. And I don't know. I just stumbled on it and I was like, well, that's interesting. I don't know how you could make a claim this solid, but apparently this Russian scientist thinks he can. And this claim is Russian scientists claims that about 200 yetis are living in Siberia. So 200 in Siberia.
And we're still yeti to see them.
we have yeti to find them. I like that, Don. Good job. All right. Russian scientist claims that scientific tests such as DNA checks prove hair samples from remote cave belong to human-like mammal, unidentified to man.
Really?
A row has erupted in Russian Federation over biological scientists' claims that some 200 yeti live in a big area of southern Siberia.
Wow.
Professor Valentin Supanov has infuriated academics with his assertion that scientific tests, including DNA checks, found that hair samples from a remote cave belong to a human-like mammal unknown to man. Now he's gone further by claiming a population of 200 yeti exist in the forested Kemerovo, Caucasia, and Altai regions of Siberia. Sorry, I have a Midwestern palate. Shaping these words is not easy. He claims that there have been no verified sightings of the Yeti because they have an acute sense of danger. Wait, did I skip this? This number allows them to effectively reproduce, said the academic from the Russian State Hydrometeorological University. But other Russian specialists are deeply unimpressed by Professor Supanov's theories, saying he has put his Bigfoot in it, with claims that there is DNA backing for the existence of the Yeti. Far from finding the abominable snowman, his scientific claims on the subject amount to abominable lies, Oleg Pugachev, director of the Zoological Institute of Russian Academy of Science, told state-run newspaper Rossiyskaya Gazeta. I wonder if that means Russian Gazette. This institute was one of three where Professor Supanov claimed the Yeti hair found a year ago was tested. And this is the source of this article is UFO The Truth Is Out There .blogspot.pt. Well, there you go. I think anybody that comes forward with genetic claims of Bigfoot is always going to meet severe public ridicule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Severe. And it's just the nature of the beast. I don't know.
The beast.
The beast. Oh, haha, thanks. Unintentional rim shot. Thank you. But it's interesting to think that. I don't know. I mean, how could we possibly know how many are out there? I guess we can only, like a lot of scientists have done, they look at like how many bear are there in a specific region.
Right.
And it might be fair to compare a Bigfoot or Yeti or Yowie, Alma, whatever, Yeren, with those big mammals because they would have similar caloric needs. And so, the same is true for the range needed for each family group or whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's maybe fair to come up with assumptions that way, but I don't know how he's coming up with 200 for all of Siberia. But I don't know much about what's going on in Siberia other than I hear it's cold.
I hear it's cold and there's a lot of gulags.
Yeah, there's the gulag, of course.
Gulags. There's no such thing as a gulag.
My mom used to make goulash. I like goulash.
That's nice. Well, you're Midwestern.
I am Midwestern. Born and raised, sir. Born and raised. But there you go. That's another interesting article, worthy of discussion. I don't know, Don. How many do you think are out there?
How many do I think are out there?
Yeah.
Are we just talking about Russian Yetis?
Let's say in the Pacific Northwest.
In the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah. How many would you think are in this region?
They should build a wall to keep them out.
We don't get paid for the jokes, folks. So.
I don't know, because I've always grown up with, being from that area.
Right.
I've always grown up from hearing about the Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest and the greater Pacific Northwest and blah, blah, blah. There's got to be at least a breeding population, but how many is that?
I don't know.
What is the breeding population requirement for a human civilization?
I don't know. That's a good question. Now, I would have to ask you, since you did grow up in that region, did you ever hear people claim to have seen them?
No.
Never.
No. Just
Okay.
kids playing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
did you ever hear kids saying, "I saw one"?
Well,
I mean-
well, but I mean, they're kids. I mean,
Well, sure, but
they want to see them, you know?
that's yeah, that's probably true. I'm just curious because, of course, that is one of the hot spots where people go. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
let's go to the Olympic Peninsula. Let's go check it out. Because
Right. And, you know, so many people, you know, they camp out there, they go to the rivers, and they party all night, you know, and that might be part of the problem. You know, they're scaring them away. So you never know.
I like what Jordan said in the chat. He said, public ridicule is a sign that you're over the target.
Right.
Everyone should know that by now, especially after today. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Genetics claims. I'm just seeing if anybody else had some information here. I think that goes back to the other article. 200 Yetis, but still unavailable for birthday parties.
Yup.
That's true. They do not do birthday parties, to my knowledge. I tried it. Karen Aberdeen says, I tried to talk to my hubby into letting me put something in his beard. He just lets me braid it sometimes for doctor appointments.
Braid it for doctor's appointments.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Dresses up to go to the doctor?
What do you mean you don't?
No.
I put on my best clothes. No, I don't.
I
just
put on my holiest underwear and
I
hope
just-
to God nothing's wrong.
Don shows up in just a speedo and good
It's
intentions.
more like a peanut sack.
Oh dear God, I could have done all. I don't even know why I went there, dude. I don't even know why I did it.
Ah, you did it. Hey, so have you given more thought about the Twitch channel, about us, you know, lounging around in a little kid's hot tub or a little kid's tub and wearing banana hammocks and
Yeah,
nutmegs?
no, that was never part of my vision. That was never part of my vision. Now I am exploring the Twitch idea. I've been doing a lot of research into Twitch, and I think it's a very different experience than than the YouTube experience. But I just, what I'm not sure of is the audience that's over there.
Right.
From everything I've observed so far, it just seems to be either guys trying to simp on hot girls, or it's young kids just bashing each other.
Right.
Younger audience. So I don't know. It's something that I still may do, but I gotta substantiate that there's an older audience there as well, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of work for nothing. Because
Right.
I don't think anybody wants to tune in and watch an old guy talk about the paranormal or much anything else.
Nah.
Because when I was young, I didn't think my parents knew anything either. I'm just saying. I learned that wasn't the case, but when I was young, I knew it all.
Of course.
Absolutely. So
Now the only thing I know, being 50 years old, is I want to take a nap every day. That's all I know.
I feel you, brother. I feel you. I don't take naps daily, but every once in a while I'll nod off. And on hot days like this would have been a perfect day for it, but I
Yes.
never did get a chance.
Yep.
I've been busy all day too, but
There you go.
punch in the personal clock. That's all. All right, so let's continue on here, folks. We got a lot more of this fun paranormal stuff to get through. Here's an article from. Let me do this first.
Joseph Crow says Brent just needs yoga pants and floss.
Dear God, I don't even want to look in the mirror and see that. I don't know what kind of mental image you're working with there, but
Thank you, Miss Dill. She says no Speedos. If I want to see the junk, I'll look in the trunk. Trunks.
oh, very well said. Yeah, there's nothing good about a Speedo. It's just it's just funny in my head every time I say it. I can't. As I said before, I don't get paid for this making joke stuff. Here's one that I want to tie up. This is one I've been sampling from for several shows, and there's only 4 stories left on this thread, and so I wanted to get through this so I can close this tab and lower the real estate on my tab bar.
Right.
That's my intention anyway. I'm sure I'll open a bunch of new ones, but this is an article we've been talking about for a few shows now, just for spooks.com. 27 people share their creepiest things they've witnessed on the high seas. Now we're down to 4 left, so let's check these out.
We started this 2 weeks ago. Or
Yeah,
something.
I know.
Wow.
And I've been hitting it here and there. Just there's several of them that aren't really paranormal,
Right.
but they are still unusual, and so that's really cool. And there's some of these coming up yet are still, not really paranormal per se.
But there's more yeti to come.
Number 23. We are treasure divers from Key West, and we were out fishing late night, early morning. Everyone that has spent time on the water knows the witching hour on the sea is about 2 a.m. to 5:30. That's more than an hour. It was about 5 a.m. and with the sun coming up and the water gin clear.
Oh, clear as gin. Yeah.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. I've never heard that saying. Gin clear. We could see our chumming was bringing some interesting critters up to the surface. Some big sharks cruised by and different things too, but suddenly one of the guys screamed out, "Look at the size of that manta ray on the port side." At the same time, another guy said, "Wait, I can see him on the starboard side too."
Wow.
And he is wider than the boat. He was too, over 18 to 20 feet wide, and lazily cruised under us and circled back again and again. The sea has many secrets, but she hasn't given up many of them, despite what people and scientists claim. We know more about the moon than we do the deepest oceans and our seas. Recently, a friend told me that she met people in the Southwest that claim extraterrestrials live in the deep ocean and have been there for a long time. They claim they're safe there because humans can't live and survive in the deepest oceans.
Very true.
Yeah, that's a good way to get people to leave you alone. Go where people can't go.
Yep.
That was submitted by a Cody Russell.
That's cool.
Number 24. I worked for a nonprofit that relied on big donations from very wealthy donors, and this meant cultivating relationships with some very wealthy people. One of the donors I was tasked with shepherding, let's call him D, invited me for a weekend yachting off of around near Catalina. I was excited. My partner gets seasick. My partner gets seasick, so we never did boat trips, even though we lived near the coast. Our first night out was beautiful, and we were all lounging on the deck of this gorgeous yacht talking about eerie ocean stuff. Well, Dee mentions that he has this thin inflatable roll-out panel that he tethers to the boat and lets float out in the water with a 100-foot or so rope that people can use as sort of a swimming platform. Well, we get the idea that we should unfurl this thing into the darkness and experience the freakiness of it at night. I was equal parts frightened and curious, as was everyone else, so a group of 4 of us did it while 2 people stayed on the boat. We get the thing out, slide it into the water, check the rope, and push off. It's pretty instantly terrifying. You can see the dim lights on the boat, but after about 40 feet, it seems really, really far away. But it was undeniably awesome too. We're chatting quietly to ourselves, but mostly we're being quiet and just taking in the weird mix of fear and awe of being so close to the water in the middle of the night. We get to the point where the tether gets taut, and you can immediately feel the current tugging us away from the big boat, which again, freaky, but we're confidently tied to the big boat. It's hard to see much of anything other than a few lights on Catalina. We're on the ocean side, not the bay side. Even though we're not far from shore, I lie back on the platform and everyone else does the same. The water wasn't rough, but it was moving, so you get the rocked in random directions. Splashes of water that lip up over the edge and get everyone wet. It was nice. All of a sudden, the feeling of the waves, kind of random and choppy, transitions to a very smooth swell, which makes us all gasp. We're rising, quickly but smoothly, and everyone jolts upright. There's virtually no light from the moon, but it's enough for us to notice the gigantic thing just under the surface of the water from us. As soon as we notice it, it's already passing, and it sets in that it must be massive whale, moving right below us, maybe a foot or 2 down, and we're feeling the water displacement from it. No one makes a peep. I immediately grab the tether and start pulling us in, and others start to help. No one makes a sound until we get back on the big boat, which no one leaves for the rest of the trip. It's all we talk about for the next 24 hours, and needless to say, I now have a healthy fear of the ocean, especially at night. People are tiny. The ocean is big.
Yes.
That was from Omni Palone. Wow. or Omnipal 1. I'm not sure how to say that, but it looks like Polone. Number 25.
Yeah,
Well,
have you ever been on the ocean when it's dark?
No, I've really never been out on the ocean.
God, it's
I've
incredible.
flown over it, but never in it.
Oh, it's incredible.
Is it?
Yeah, just being out there in the flat of night on a boat. Doesn't have to be a big boat, but the smaller the boat, the more scarier it is.
Yeah, I'll
But
bet.
yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I'll bet
Loved
it is. Wow. Yeah, I've been out in the San Juan Islands,
Okay.
but
Okay.
we were always out in the day, and
Right.
in the night we were in harbors.
Right.
Now I found harbors to be really enchanting in the San Juan Islands. That was
Yes.
really kind of magical. Just like going to different planets, like kind of like here's what my 15-year-old mind was doing, a Star Wars thing. It's like getting in the Millennium Falcon and going to this place and then going to this place.
Right.
And each port was very different and unique and really fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great spot too, the San Juans. Oh, that's gorgeous up there.
Yeah, it really was. It's one of the fondest memories of my young life, was seeing all of that. And Banff. Banff was amazing too. Did a 3-day horseback ride up into the Canadian Rockies.
Oh boy,
That was really cool.
that doesn't sound like fun.
No, it really was. It was amazing because it's like being in a movie. It's like riding through a Western movie.
Sure you go, cowpoke.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
All right, number 25 on our magical list. Well, it's not the ocean, but apparently this also happens in the sea. My friend's brother works as a firefighter in Korea, but he used to work as a diving instructor. Near end of his college years, one of the jobs he took was diver, as in someone who dives to retrieve bodies of drowned people. While he didn't get a lot of cases, I remember him telling me this one story about his experience. On this particular day, he was diving in a river that, after it flooded due to typhoon, they had a report of a drowned person and were searching for the body. After an hour of searching, his colleague informed that he found a body, and few divers went to retrieve it. The water was murky, but you could still make out figures in the water. And when the divers were close to retrieving the body, the search party leader told everyone to surface. Back on the ship, he explained that this body shouldn't be touched because, unlike normal bodies that float on water, this one was standing in the middle of water.
What?
Apparently in Asian cultures, Grim Reapers can't cross over water, so people who drown must replace their spot with another person in order to pass on to the afterlife. And the standing corpses are the ones that are looking for people to replace their spots.
Oh.
Also, these spots with standing corpses are more likely to have underwater whirlpools or currents that can trap people easily.
Right.
They marked the spot and checked it every day and retrieved the body after 3 days when it floated on top of the water.
Oh, that would be scary.
That is horrendous. Oh, I'm sure it was all pretty after that. Ay, ay, ay. Number 26, that was by Hunky Chunk.
That's me.
Don. It's your new nickname, Don.
Hunky Chunk.
I'm going to just introduce you, my co-host, Mr. Hunky Chunk. All right, number 26. In June of 1947, multiple ships traversing the trade routes of Malacca, which is located between Sumatra and Malaysia, claimed to have picked up a series of SOS distress signals. The unknown ship's message was as simple as it was disturbing. All officers, including captain, are dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly whole crew dead. This communication was followed by a burst of indecipherable Morse code. Then a final grim message, I die. This cryptic proclamation was followed by tomb-like silence. The crews that received the message were able to triangulate the source of these broadcasts and deduced that they were likely emanating from a Dutch freighter known as the SS Orang Medan. Orang Medan, huh. A merchant ship known as the Silver Star was closest to the presumed location of the Orang Medan, 400 nautical miles southeast of the Marshall Islands. Within hours, the Silver Star caught sight of the Orang Medan rising and falling in the choppy waters of the Malacca Strait. As the merchant craft neared the ill-omened vessel, the crew noticed that there was no sign of life on the deck. The men on the Silver Star began to call out and motion to the Orang Medan, and there was no response. The captain of the Silver Star assembled a boarding party. The brave men boarded the ship and made a grisly discovery. The decks of the vessel were littered with the corpses of the Dutch crew, their eyes wide, their arms grasping at unseen assailants, their faces twisted into revolting visages of agony and horror.
Wow.
Even the ship's dog was dead. Its once intimidating snarl frozen into a ghostly grimace. The boarding party found the captain's remains on the bridge, while his officers' cadavers were strewn about the wheelhouse and the chart room. The communications officer was still at his post, as dead as the rest. His fingers resting on the telegraph, all of the corpses, according to reports, bore the same terrified, wide-eyed expressions as the crew on deck. The temperature outside was 110 degrees Fahrenheit, but the search party reported feeling a cold chill in the nadir of the hold. I'm not sure what that is. The captain of the Silver Star decided that they would tether themselves to the Orang Medan and tow it back to port. But as soon as the crew attached the tow line to the Dutch ship, they noticed ominous billows of smoke pouring up from the number 4 hold. The boarding party scarcely had a chance to cut the tow line and make it back to the Silver Star before the Orang Medan exploded with such a tremendous force that it lifted itself from the water and swiftly sank.
Wow.
The crew watched the Dutch vessel disappear beneath the briny depths. So what exactly happened? Theories have ranged from pirates to the paranormal. The most widely believed claim is that seawater could have entered the ship's hold, reacting with the perilous cargo to release poisonous gases, which then caused the crew to suffocate. At this point, the onrushing salt water might have reacted with the nitroglycerin, creating an explosive effect that was said to cause the ship's ultimate demise. The fact that there were no registration records for the Orang Medan remains a troublesome detail. There have been many claims that records may have been eradicated by a savvy group of governmental conspirators due to the nature of the ship's mission. Nobody knows what happened to the SS Orang Medan except for the crew who now rests at the bottom of the ocean. That was by Explore Me Dora. That's a great name. Here's number 27, the last one on the list. As I've said in previous posts, I work at sea. Last month we came into dry dock to carry out refit and repairs. Dry dock is when a ship is brought into lock, the gates closed, and all the water's pumped out, leaving the ship high and dry on the blocks, thus allowing repairs, inspections, etc. of the underside of the hull. Next to us was an old military frigate being broken down for scrap. She had arrived about 2 weeks prior to us, and once the frigate was on the blocks and dry, all the crew left the old girl to her fate. A sad sight, but that's how things go. Once all the sensitive stuff had been removed, the dock workers were free to go on. The dock foreman, John, went on board, first with the camera, to take pictures of work areas. He took a couple hundred in all. And this was one of them. There's a link, but I don't know where this goes. Anyway, he later sent all of the pics to his boss, who, upon seeing this one, called John straight away, asking who's the guy with the axe at the edge of the camera flash. Well, John had no idea. He never saw anyone. The area where this picture was taken was in a cross alleyway deep inside the ship. He was going around with a torch and a camera. I guess we can look at it. Let's see if it works. Oh. Is that? Look at that.
Oh. Yeah, that's, I don't see an axe, but I certainly see a body. Somebody peeking out there.
Yeah, it does look like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, crazy.
Wow, very crazy. All right, and okay, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. When he'd go take a picture, he would turn off the torch, leaving him in total darkness, snap the shot, turn the torch back on, and be on his way. Due to the fact that it was a military vessel, the police were called. A search was carried out, but no one was found. There was one way on and off the ship, and that was by a gangway covered by closed caption TV. You couldn't jump over the side as it was a 25-meter drop onto concrete.
Closed circuit.
What did I say?
Closed caption.
Oh, closed circuit, sorry. I'm just trying not to cough. No one was seen to leave the ship after John had taken this. I am a skeptic, Maybe it's a trick of the flash reflecting off of something, but if you really zoom in, you can just make out the face, ear, collar of his jacket, and the axe in a meaty fist. Now, it could be John blowing smoke up my tail, but when he was telling the story, he seemed genuinely rattled, and the guy in the pic looks nothing like any of the workers we met on the dock. So if someone who is handy with cleaning up pictures, I'd be really interested to see what you can pull out of it. And before anyone asks, I'm not going to name the ship or even where she is, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have a picture of the innards of a military vessel. This gave me serious goosebumps, needless to say. I did not go on board for a look.
Well, it doesn't really matter if you give the name because it was at the
It was
dry
scrapped.
dock. Yeah,
Yeah.
scrapping.
It
So
was
it's not
scrapped,
like-
so
It's not like somebody's going to go investigate it after that.
that was by Steve Goldhound.
Mm.
Steve Goldhound. Well, thanks for the story, Steve. That's really cool.
Hi, Zara.
Hey, Zara. Good to see ya. So very cool. I think those kind of stories are fantastic
They
and
are.
fun.
They're awesome. And especially ones where they're like venturing, like on that platform.
Yeah.
And they're just out there. Gosh, I almost did it again.
Oof.
They're venturing and being out there in the dark of night on just this floating thing,
Right.
100 feet from the nearest thing that's going to maybe save you. Because what if something came up and went and cut a bit through that
know.
rope? You'd be
I
like,
know.
yeah.
That'd be all over then. I don't know, folks. Very strange stuff. I wanted to go into this one now.
Oh, boy.
Being a parent, this one's. Now, my minion doesn't have any imaginary friends. Has never had anything like that. None of my kids, to my knowledge, have ever had imaginary friends. But I think the ones that do, I find that intriguing and maybe even spooky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what to make of it personally, but do any of your family ever have imaginary friends, Don?
Not that
Did you?
I remember. No.
Okay.
I had no friends. Nobody else. Just give that kid a pork chop, let the dog lick him.
You have friends now, Don.
I'm amongst friends.
You're amongst a bunch of friends. But, I think it could very possibly be, in some cases, paranormal. I mean, it really can. So I found this article that I thought would be fun or disturbing, whichever you choose.
Disturbing.
Probably disturbing, but we're going to read it anyway. And, okay. I feel like a vibration in this. That's weird. Okay. But this is the article. And this is coming from justforspooks.com.
Huh.
Kids' imaginary friends. 32 parents recount terrifying stories of their kids' imaginary friends. So, the general hypothesis by some is that kids may actually be talking to spirits, but they just think they're friends. And of course, parents that aren't witnessing these apparitions, because kids can see so much more than we adults can, they just assume it's an imaginary friend. And, kind of consider it's just a function of their kids' imaginations.
Yeah, it's them growing into, their imagination.
Yep, practicing socially with someone that's not really there. But sometimes the kids say some things that are really, really disturbing and troubling at the same time. So here we go with number one. My son from the age of 3 always tells me about the creeper man who lives in my mom and dad's bedroom. He brings it up after he visits them, and I made the mistake once of asking him what he looks like. My son said, "Oh, he doesn't have a face."
Oh.
Yeah, that's by Travels with the Doctor. Number 2 is a parent of one of my students told us in a meeting that she was concerned because her son, 7 years old, talked about an invisible ghost who would talk to him and play with him in his room. He said the ghost was called the Captain and was an old white guy with a beard. The kid would tell his mom that the captain told him when he grows up, his job will be to kill people. And the captain would tell him who needed to be killed.
Oh, my.
The kid would cry and say he doesn't want to kill when he grows up, but the captain tells him he doesn't have a choice and he'll get used to it after killing for a while. I was always creeped out working with that student after that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeesh. Number 3. When my daughter was 3, she had an imaginary friend named Kelly who lived in her closet.
Nice.
That's always a good start, right? Kelly sat in a little rocking chair while she slept, played with her, etc. Typical imaginary friend stuff. Anyway, fast forward to 2 years later, The wife and I are watching the new Amityville, the one with Ryan Reynolds, and our daughter walks out right when the dead girl goes all black-eyed. Far from being disturbed, she says, "Oh, that looks like Kelly." "Kelly who?" we say. "You know, the dead girl that lived in my closet."
The dead girl. Oh, my.
By Brown X Coat. Wow. Number 4. I've posted this story somewhere before. But my cousin, when she was 5 and I was 17, had a stuffed rabbit that she talked to and carried everywhere. One day she was asleep on the couch while I was watching her, and she woke up and started yelling at a rabbit for no reason. One minute she was knocked out, and the next she's awake, glaring at the rabbit, yelling, "No, you can't do that. That's bad. Don't do it," repeatedly. I asked her what was wrong and tried to get her to stop, but she wouldn't listen. I finally just took the rabbit up to her room, and when I came back down, she was asleep on the couch again. Screw whatever that rabbit was planning on doing.
Frank the rabbit.
Frank. That's by Trey Thompson. Number 5. My little brother's imaginary friend Roger lived under our coffee table.
Nice.
Roger had a wife and 9 kids.
Oh, boy.
Roger and his family lived peacefully alongside us for 3 years. One day my little brother announced that Roger wouldn't be around anymore since he shot and killed him with his whole family. I don't know if he remembers any of this, but his genuine lack of remorse was very disturbing.
Wow.
Yeesh. All right, number 6. That was by Ritz Charlatan. Instead of the Ritz-Carlton. Yeah. See what he did there? Mm-hmm. I see it. Mm-hmm. Number 6. My folks' farm surrounds a cemetery.
Oh.
And my dad and my niece were walking down there. My niece, who was 4 years old, looks up and says, "What's that boy doing up in that tree?"
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there was no boy. But she insisted that there was and could describe him. Her brother used to have an imaginary Grandma Rose, and he said she was dead and helped him when he was coloring. My kid only had an invisible goldfish that he kept in his pocket. It never went much beyond that, so I'm assuming it wasn't a ghost fish. And that's by the Mighty Spin. Number 7, when I was 16, I babysat twins who were in the 3rd grade at the time.
Oh, boy.
They always spoke of a man in an Easter bunny costume, and they were terrified of him. And one day I was babysitting, and one of the twins was in the shower, and his brother and I were sitting downstairs watching television when all of a sudden he said, "You need to go check on Matt." And seconds later, Matt yelled, "He's in here! He's in here!" I ran upstairs, and I had to check every room before he would calm down. I'm not sure which part of the experience freaked me out the most.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, the twins that are like totally dialed into each other.
Yep.
Uh-oh, better go check him. Number 8. When my brother was little, he acted like he had angels talking to him every second. One day my mom overheard him say, "I can't kill him. He's my only dad."
What?
Oh, jeez. That's by Yo Mother.
Your mother.
Number 9. Not me, but when my mom was younger, she had an imaginary friend named Shaggy. What? Sorry. Well, when she was finished with Shaggy, she chopped him up and put him in the fridge. Moral of the story, don't cross my mom.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's by Cabes Bond. Number 10. When I was little, I had a whole gang of imaginary friends, both human and animals. One day my mom noticed I hadn't talked about them in a while and asked me what had happened to them, to which I replied as calmly as ever that they were in a car crash and had died.
Jeez. Wow.
On another creepy childhood note, when my brother was just learning how to talk, he grabbed one of those small toy hammers and crawled onto the sofa where my dad was sleeping. He then leaned in close and whispered one of his first sentences, "Smash Daddy's head."
What?
Right into his ear.
No. Get the hell off me, you little creeper. Wow.
Time to go to church.
Yeah, no doubt.
Come on, kids. Time for communion.
No, I'm not going.
Powerpuff Ranger. Yep. Number 11. My brother had an invisible friend named Tony Rigel. He was 6 inches tall and was elderly. One day we found my brother crying in his room. Apparently, Tony Rigel had passed away in his sleep. We buried him in a shoebox in the backyard, so basically we had a funeral, complete with a moment of silence for an empty shoebox.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that's sweet.
Well, you know, what are you going to do?
That's sweet, though. I mean, if he's really crying because he made up this terrible tragedy.
Well, that's like, your goldfish, your first goldfish you got. You stand around the toilet bowl and say, "Here you go, buddy."
Yeah.
See ya.
Join the fishes in the sea.
Good
The
fight,
eternal
Dory.
sea. All right, number 12. Kid I used to babysit had imaginary friends. They were dead. One had no head. One was an old lady. They were both bloody. The one with no head had inside sticking out of his neck.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't ask him questions about about that because screw that. I don't blame you. Best not to know. Number 13. My daughter used to tell me about a man who came into her room every night and put the sign of the cross on her forehead.
Oh, that's not creepy.
Wow.
Block
I thought it was just a dream, and then my mother-in-law sent over some family photos. My daughter looked right at the picture of my husband's father, who had been dead for 16 years, and said, "That's the man who comes into my room at night." My husband later told me his father would always do the sign of the cross on his forehead when he was
Wow.
young.
Okay.
That's beautiful, though.
Wow.
So Grandpa's still sticking around, taking care of it. That's
Good night, Zara.
good. Oh, Zara's going? Good night, Zara.
Well, she's in Germany.
I know. It's a different
That's
different world over there.
True. It is.
Different times. Number 14. Not exactly creepy, but my cousin had imaginary pet chickens.
Oh, wow.
She called Bok-Boks.
Box.
For over 2 years, she fed them, put them to sleep, and took them for walks.
Oh, wow.
One day, my father, her uncle, was visiting, and she ran up to him with her hands cupped together and held out to him and said, "Look, Uncle." She was always making him imaginary food, which he would pretend to gobble up. So he scooped
Oh,
up
no.
the imaginary bundle from her hands, shoved it in his mouth, and pretended to gobble it up. Only when she started screaming and spewing tears did everyone realize it wasn't imaginary food. It was her Bok-Boks. She was deeply sad for days, and they never returned. Kids' minds amaze me.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Bok-Boks. Poor kid, just traumatized. No.
Mike the Headless Chicken.
Yeah. Number 15. In high school, one of my best friends had a little sister who was 5 or 6 years old. One day. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying only. We stopped by his place completely high because he needed to get his magic cards. While waiting for him to come downstairs, his sister came up to me and said, "Icy told me to ask you if you know when you're going to die." I laughed nervously. Morbid question, right? But I knew all about Icy, her imaginary friend, and I even helped her draw a picture of him once. So I played along and said, "No, of course not. No one knows that. Hopefully when I'm very old." The girl shook her head sadly and said, "No, Icy wants me to tell you it'll be tonight."
Ooh.
And with that, she just walked away. If I hadn't been stoned, I probably would have laughed. Instead, I spent the rest of the evening paranoid as hell that something bad was going to happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a buzzkill.
Yeah, that's a definitely a
I can't go
nomination.
anywhere. I'm going to get hit by a car. I'm going to get mugged and chopped to death.
Car accident, what's coming?
My
What's
mom's
coming?
going to chop me up and put me in the fridge. Jeez.
That's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah, of all the paranoid times, that's not the right time.
No.
Number 16, and then I think we'll move on to something else after this. And I'll continue this on Friday night or something. But when my niece was about 4, she had an imaginary friend, which I don't remember the name of. She would blame things she did on this imaginary friend, but also talked about how this friend would watch Scooby-Doo with her.
Nice.
One day I thought, why don't I find out more about this friend? So I asked her to tell me about her friend, and she said, well, she's a she, and she's dead. And I said, okay. Does she have a job? And she said she does. What my daddy does, which is that her imaginary friend was a cop. Okay. So then I said, where's your imaginary friend, a policewoman, at? And she said, right next to where my daddy is a policeman. And I said, okay, but then she said, I met her when I was in my mommy's belly. She touched it when I was inside. A few months before my niece was born, my cousin Tracy had died. She was hit by a train. She loved watching Scooby-Doo and had a ton of memorabilia. She also was a cop. She was a cop in the town that is right next to the one my brother-in-law is a cop. My niece's daddy, my niece's imaginary friend, was my dead cousin. There is no other way she could have known all that at the age of 4.
Wow.
That is really a cool story. So
Wow.
she's hanging out. That's awesome. Very cool. I don't know. A little still, of course, tragic, but
Right.
but then again,
Wow, that's just crazy.
I have an imaginary friend, Nixer. I have an imaginary friend, Nixer. Okay. Oh, cool. Scooby-Doo watching cop. That makes sense. Yeah, why not? Who doesn't love Scooby-Doo? Come on. I mean,
Yeah. The new Scooby-Doo suck, though.
I haven't watched them.
Oh, my goodness.
But are they bad?
Well, actually, they're not too bad, really.
Really?
Yeah, there's been a couple reiterations of them, and
Has there? Okay.
some of them are just not.
I got to do something here because this doesn't look right. I got to change something because...
Are you going to make your head bigger?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm trying to do something here. I've been screwing around with the OBS settings, and I think this is the one I need to turn off. No, not really. Didn't really change anything. Why does it seem so dark in here? Doesn't it? When you look at the cameras?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
really dark. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're usually lit up better than that.
I'm usually way more lit up. Maybe it's the, hold on. Well, maybe it's just when I have this up.
Maybe.
I'm lit by articles,
He's
folks.
lit.
I'm always lit. Just ask him. Ask the audience. Am I lit?
He's lit.
I'm lit up.
He's on fleek.
What the hell is fleek?
I don't know. It's what
I
they
don't
say.
know either.
She's on point.
On point.
Fleek.
I got you. Whatever it is, that's us. Us. I said us. All right. Here it is. I want to do a story. Let's see what the time is. 8:24 already done.
Wow.
All right. So next we want to get into some more cryptid stuff. And this is from ranker.com. And it's a list of true Mothman stories, apparently.
Oh, boy.
Written by Lyra Radford. Lyra Radford. When did she write this? April 23rd of last year. Okay, so about a year ago.
Huh.
Year and a month or two ago. Yeah. Sorry. I had to sniffle. Or snort, whichever it worked out as. All right, so let's get into this. This is from ranker.com. Convincing Stories of Real People Who Claim They Saw the Mothman in Real Life by Lyra Radford. All right, so let's get into what's this all about. I think we all know what the Mothman is. What is the Mothman? Could it be a cryptid like Bigfoot or something otherworldly, perhaps extraterrestrial in origin? That's what I think it might be. I don't know, though. It's hard to say. All right, now this one sounds like we've talked about this
Probably.
a bunch of times. So again, whenever you're reading these kind of things, you'll find that the same stories are repeated all over the place. But we've talked about Mothman seen at the O'Hare International Airport. But how long is it? It's pretty short, so I'll read it anyway. A truck driver who stopped at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago on November 26th, 2019, claimed he spotted a person with wings around 7 feet tall standing by a fence while he took a smoke break about 6:30 p.m. He reported his sightings to UFO Clearinghouse, an online source for odd encounters, that describes itself as a portal for the truth. According to the investigator who took the report, the truck driver said the creature had a wingspan of approximately 6 feet and looked like a demon or a goblin and was solid black. See, that's the thing. A 6-foot wingspan is nothing if it's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got like hummingbird wings.
Yep.
You know, the witness mentioned the creature may have had its back to him, and it was walking with a gait like a bird. He claimed it was flapping its wings as it walked towards a large field that is by the airport runways and disappeared into the night. The witness himself believes he was in the presence of a demon. When the investigator asked if he'd seen anything like it before, the truck driver detailed a similar experience as a child in Mexico, where a solid black winged creature was circling in an open field and made a loud screeching noise before flying off into the surrounding forest. Similarly, the experiences of those who claim to have encountered the Mothman. The Mothman is said to have haunted Pleasant Point prior to the Silver Bridge collapse. I'm going to skip that one because everyone knows that story. 2 young couples were reportedly chased down Route 62 by the Mothman. On November 15th, 1966, 2 couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, were driving past a TNT plant when they saw a humanoid figure with glowing red eyes. Linda described what they saw on the side of the road as a bird-like humanoid creature with a large wingspan and fiery red eyes. She said it was about 7 feet tall. Its wings folded against its back. You could see muscles in its legs, she recalled. The creature followed them as they drove back towards Pleasant Point on Route 62, and it veered off into the fields and disappeared. The group went straight to the Mason County Police Department to share the terrifying account, which soon made its way into local papers. I wish we had never seen it. I wish someone else had seen it, Linda Scarberry said later. Yeah, I don't imagine that sits well. I mean, would you report it, Don? Let's say you were being chased.
Not to the police. I mean, something like that. I mean, what it's like the police being called because your neighbor sent a ghost to your house. So what good is it telling the cops, yeah, I was chased by a Mothman?
911 is for emergencies only.
Well, this is an emergency. Get him a straitjacket.
I got a 7-foot winged humanoid after me.
You know, what year was that? 1966. Okay, so that wasn't like there was not like a whole lot of reporting agencies like we have now. You know, we've got the BFRO, we've got just all of them.
Sure.
So
MUFON.
Yeah, exactly. And so. But I certainly wouldn't go to the police because back then they had the police blotter in the morning, which detailed a rundown of all the 911 calls or whatever.
Right, all the emergency calls.
It's like, oh yeah, so we were called out to Route 62 because there was a Mothman sighting. Really? What the hell's a Mothman? 1966. Let's be real about it.
Yeah, there was nothing there.
Yep.
No, they probably did see something horrible. I mean, you have to give their report credibility because they did talk about it to the police.
Right.
To me, that's a good sign of credibility. Like, they were so disturbed by what they saw and experienced that they went right and talked to the police, even though it probably looked like they were absolutely insane. So you got to give them credit for that, for actually doing that. But let's continue on. The Mothman allegedly saved the lives of miners in Freiburg, Germany. On September 10th, 1978, a group of miners in Freiburg, Germany came face to face with a seemingly headless creature with glowing red eyes on its chest, blocking the mine's entrance. And at first they thought it was a man in a trench coat, but they quickly realized it was not a coat, but unfurled large black wings.
Wow.
The men remained in the mine entrance, stunned and staring at the creature, until it let out a blood-curdling screech that sent the miners scrambling out. About an hour later, the men felt a seismic rumble and witnessed a plume of dust shoot from the mine as it collapsed. If the men had gone to their stations in the mine as usual, the majority of them would have died. It appeared as though what they dubbed the Freiburg Shrieker saved their lives.
Wow.
Now that's cool. That's cool.
What if it was there to
collapse the mine?
Collapse the mine.
Well, it obviously didn't want to take any casualties, so.
There you go.
Got to give him credit. The Mothman may have tried to warn the people of the Fukushima disaster.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's the thing. The Mothman is reported at after the fact, people always say, oh, there was a Mothman up there. I saw him, after the events. Now, It would be interesting to hear if there's any reports prior to Chernobyl, as is claimed, or prior to the 35W bridge collapse in Minneapolis, or prior to any of these things. Like the Point Pleasant has seen, they had witness reports of this prior to the bridge collapse in Point Pleasant. But it's curious in these other locations that are claimed to have had the presence of the Mothman before a disaster happened. But I don't recall reading any reports of that, just the claims. So Marcus Pules, an American visiting Japan, was out with a friend near the Fukushima plant when suddenly they heard a loud whooshing sound and a terrible screeching. As they looked back towards the plant, they saw a figure, Pules described as large and black from the distance it looked to be sitting on top of one of the squared-shaped buildings. It sat there for about 5 seconds and then unfurled a large set of what I could only describe as large black wings. The creature took flight, circling the plant a few times before coming closer to them. That's when I noticed the two large red eyes, and they seemed to glow from within with a blood-red hue, and they were unblinking in the 3 to 4 seconds we saw them. We knew they were looking straight at us, and we knew this creature knew we could see it, and made no attempt to disguise itself. Pules describes an immense feeling of dread that washed over him, and the creature vanished as quickly as it had appeared. It wasn't until Pools was back home in America, hearing the news on CNN about the devastation in the Japanese earthquake and the explosion at the very same nuclear power plant where he had witnessed the creature, that he realized he may have seen the infamous harbinger of disaster known as the Mothman. Again, maybe that's the hindsight's 2020 thing.
Right.
You know, the Mothman was apparently hanging around the Twin Towers the week of the 9/11 attacks.
Wow.
During the days leading up to the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, several people reported sightings of a black-winged creature flying near the Twin Towers. During the attack, as the second plane hit, eyewitnesses reported a creature flying parallel to the plane. Then in the days that followed, those reporting the creature were allegedly approached by men in black and warned to stop talking about what they saw.
Wow.
The Mothman is allegedly connected to the Chernobyl disaster. Yeah, a lot of these are repeats. Sorry if we've gone over them before, but, you know, we always have new people listening to the shows, so what do you do? I don't write these things. I just try to research them for you guys. The Mothman is believed to have been around the world's worst nuclear accident in history. Throughout 1985, many scientists and other workers at the nuclear power plant in Chernobyl, Ukraine, claimed to see a huge black bird-like creature with the body of a man flying around the plant. Those who saw the red-eyed beast also reported a series of strange, harassing phone calls and a string of nightmares leading up to the disastrous explosion in 1986. On April 26, 1986, one day, the day of the accident, several people saw the huge black bird actually flying around the smoke after the explosion. And even those in the nearby town of Pripyat claimed to have seen the strange creature that became known as the Blackbird of Chernobyl in the days leading up to the disaster. Pripyat was also affected and later evacuated because of the harmful radiation. And there's the 35W bridge, West Virginia. His dog was taken by the Mothman. I don't want to just keep regurgitating ones we've covered. On November 13th, 1966, in Salem, West Virginia, Marie Partridge heard a loud noise outside of his home. Oh, Merle. Sorry. Yeah. When it said his, I was like, wait a minute, that's not a Marie. That's a Merle. Outside of his home, 90 miles from Point Pleasant. And during an interview in Eyes of the Mothman, he recalled his television making a high-pitched whining noise and his dog barking wildly. After going outside to investigate, Partridge was startled by two glowing red eyes that belonged to no animal he'd ever seen before. He also described eerie flashing red lights that seemed to be dancing around. His hunting dog took off after the creature, and that was the last he ever saw of either. He went out to search for his dog with friends the next day, but the dog was never seen again. The combination of hundreds of Mothman sightings in the area that year, claims of red lights dancing over the TNT plant, and electrical interference during these sightings have all led to speculation that the Mothman might have extraterrestrial origins. It's possible.
There's nothing out of the. Oh my gosh!
What?
I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right. It happens to me all the time, brother.
Goodness.
An eyewitness in Wisconsin says the Mothman attacked his car. This one sounds familiar. This is La Crosse. I wonder if I've read this article before. I don't think so, because usually they're linked, and I can tell which ones I've read. But if I have, I apologize. In September 2006 in La Crosse, Wisconsin, a Wahali, a Cherokee man, and his son were driving down an isolated stretch of road at night when the Mothman attacked them. In an interview on Monster Quest, he shared his encounter. Wahali told how the creature flew alongside and then directly in front of their windshield, close enough to touch. They got a really good look at it, describing it as bat-like and fleshy, with sparse hair and red eyes the size of road reflectors. He described the monster's high-pitched screech that gave them vertigo and made them sick to their stomachs. The man's son pulled over and threw up on the side of the road. After returning to the location a few days later in the daytime, all they found left behind was a deer carcass they later blamed on a poacher. The swine flu outbreak in Mexico. Mothman sightings correlated with that. I guess there's only this one and the next one. Some people believe the large, hairy, red-eyed creature the people of La Junta, Mexico, began to see stalking the area in 2009 was the legendary Mothman. The sightings occurred around the time leading up to the 2009 swine flu outbreak in Mexico. 2 witnesses, Angela Mendez and Viviana Ledesma, experienced pure terror as they heard the creature's screeches emanating out from an apple orchard near Miñaca Cemetery. A student who requested to remain anonymous reported the Mothman chased him for 15 minutes on the night of March 6, 2009. Despite the best efforts of local authorities to hunt down the entity, no traces of it were ever found.
For 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
Was he in a car or was he on foot?
I don't know. I don't know. A student. We don't know how old he was. The Mothman may have signaled the deadly Xiayan Te Dam disaster. A region in southwest China was plagued with sightings of the figure that resembled the Mothman on early January 1926, dubbed by locals as the Man-Dragon. The shadowy, ominous figure was seen hovering above the Xianan Te Dam, and then disaster hit the surrounding farming villages in the form of 40 billion gallons of water. The dam collapsed, resulting in the deaths of 15,000 people. See, this really sounds familiar. I don't know. If it's redundant, I do apologize. I never try to be redoing the same articles, but it happens.
I have to go get some water. Can you take me off
camera? By all means,
Thank
I
you.
will take you off camera, and I will just sit on camera by myself. Are you okay?
Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Longbeard. That's right, folks. He's here all night, and he's bound to leave an impression. That's right. What is a portal without Don, after all? All right, so we got about 40 minutes left. I think we can probably get through this one. This is an article from justforspooks.com, and it's true paranormal stories. We got 15 true paranormal stories. We'll get through what we can. I don't know how long they are or what we'll have to say about them, but let's get this started. All right. 15 true paranormal stories of 2020. Again, from justforspooks.com. And let's see. I don't know. I don't need to read the lead in on that. Let me blow this up just a little, because it's always easier when the words are bigger. There we go. That'll help. The first story, I'm a pilot. One time I was flying and I saw this bright orange glowing thing hovering over the trees. It was kind of bouncing around like if you had a ball on an elastic string and you just bounced it around and whatnot. Anyway, since my course would have brought me near it, I asked the air traffic control if they saw anything on their radar, which they said no. They asked me what I saw, so I described it, and they said they weren't showing anything and were not aware of any military activity. The thing shot straight up and disappeared, so I told them it was gone. They asked me if I wanted to file a UFO report, which I said, heck no. It's probably a weather balloon, and then I continued on my way. I know it wasn't a balloon, but I don't want the FAA questioning my sanity. What freaks me out is that we know very little about the ocean, but relative to us, the ocean is finite. What is behind the blue sky that we see is infinite, and we know nothing about it. That's a good point. That's by _Illuminati_.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Them Illuminatis.
It's the Illuminatis.
They're just natties.
They're Illuminati. Oh, there's another title image. Okay. Number 2. About a year ago, I was at my dad's house taking care of the dog for the week because he was gone camping with some friends and my sister. My wife was also gone to Colombia with her family for a month. My in-laws asked me to take care of their dog while they were gone, and I, of course, said yes. So there I am. First night at my dad's house with 2 dogs who had been playing together all day. And I decided to go to bed at around 10, so I go lock the front and back door. I make sure every door in the house, except that my bedroom door, is closed, and I sleep. At about 12 o'clock, I hear the dogs freaking out, barking and whining, so I jump out of bed and go check on them. On my way downstairs, I see the back door is unlocked and open.
Oh.
I look down at the dogs, and they're both staring at the basement door, whining and growling, while laying in a puddle of their own pee. I see that the basement door is open, so I have 911 ready to be called on my phone, and I go downstairs. I search around for a while and not even sure what I'm looking for until I decide to go back upstairs and clean off the dogs. At maybe 1 o'clock, the dogs are finally clean and no longer focused on the basement, so I make sure the basement door is latched and I go back upstairs after making sure the back door is locked as well. At about 2 o'clock, I once again hear the dogs barking, freaking out, so ran downstairs and once again I see the back door wide open. So is the basement door, but this time both dogs are staring out the window, looking into the backyard. So this time I do not bother to go downstairs, I just close the door. I run to the back door and close it and lock it as hard and as fast as I can. I go upstairs and did not sleep for the rest of the night, but both dogs slept on the bed with me. After about a week, my dad gets home and I asked him if he can watch his home cameras for that first night I was there. I had to wait for him to get home because I had no clue how to work it. And as we're watching, I'm just looking to see if anything or anyone even went near the house during the night. Oddly enough, there was nothing. The only weird thing is that around 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, the back door randomly flings open with nothing going on in or out. But the scary part is that from a different camera in the house, we can clearly see me lock the back doors every single time. No issue of the lock or any other day before or since then.
Huh.
So they got a ghost.
Yeah, something came in, went to the basement. He locked him in the basement. Then he came out of the basement an hour later and out the back door.
Yep. I don't know what he's doing in the basement,
Creepy.
but yeah, plenty of creepy. That's from Exotic Nerfs. Number 3, I was visiting my family and staying in a hotel with my boyfriend, husband now. The first night there, we went to bed and I woke up in the middle of the night facing the window. I noticed there was a dark shadow in the corner of the room that looked human shape. But after staring a while, I realized it must have been a floor lamp since that corner was kind of bare and that's the logical choice. I rolled over and went back to bed. The following morning, I remembered this and turned to look at the corner where the lamp was, and there isn't a floor lamp there. The corner is bare. I mentioned it to my boyfriend and he went white. He told me that he woke up in the middle of the night because he felt like he was being watched and had to get up out of bed to go to the bathroom, and I vaguely remember him getting up and tried to shake the feeling. That's from Lexocracy. Number 4, my father died less than 6 months after my daughter was born. She was not a good sleeper for her first year or so, waking up screaming, crying at all hours of the night. My wife and I would trade times getting up to soothe her. One evening, not too long after my father passed, I was having a dream that my daughter was screaming in her bedroom. In the dream, I got up and went to her room, but before I got there, my dad came out of the room and just said, "She'll be okay," and kept walking away, and the crying stopped. I shot up and saw the baby monitor screen was on. It was on sound-activated mode, so the screen only comes on when a sound, it's over 60 decibels and goes off after 3 minutes of quiet. I get up and check, and she's fine and sleeping. A little shaken, it took me a bit to get back to sleep. I tell my wife about the dream in the morning, and she told me she heard her crying, but thought I'd gotten up to calm her. Still a vivid memory in my mind nearly 3 years later, seeing my younger-looking dad coming out of her room. That was by mid-1086. Number 5. After my father-in-law died, we moved into their house. My father-in-law had been an old Navy man, a provider, hard worker, and a caretaker, the kind of guy who checked the oil and topped off fluids in his wife's car. But he'd had a lot of drama and chaos with his wife and children, who all suffer from one thing or another: depression, bipolar, schizoaffective disorder, etc. So hospital visits, suicide scares, trouble at school, arrests, etc. In the first few weeks we lived there, the front door repeatedly opened by itself, just popping open at random times. I had small kids going in and out, so I blamed them at first. I inspected it for any reason why, closing it, jiggling the handle, pushing it from outside, looking at the weather stripping, barely closing it, etc., and I couldn't see any reason it wouldn't stay closed. It would open sometimes 3 times in a day, sometimes none, with people in the room or without, but dozens of times over 3 to 4 weeks. Finally, one night, I had a really vivid dream. I was in the living room when the door opened and John walked in. He looked tired, worried, and confused, and I said, "Hey, John, are you okay?" He didn't answer, but he looked at me and looked around. I could tell he was, as usual, more worried about us than himself. I said, "It's okay, John. You're okay. I'll take care of them. We're going to be fine." He looked at me, gave me a worried half smile, but nodded, turned, nodded again, and went back out. I never fixed the door because it never happened again. Aw, yeah, that's probably true. Number 6, a couple of years ago, I had a dream reliving one of my childhood experiences where I was playing with my cousin, and at the end of the dream, when he was getting ready to go home, I said goodbye to him, and for some reason, it felt different that time. A couple of days later, he ended up passing away due to sudden death syndrome, basically a heart attack, but he was 25, so it was very unusual. 3 years later to this day, every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm having very vivid dreams where I'm talking with him and having full conversations. My friend says it's my cousin reaching out to me, and while I don't believe that, I can't otherwise explain it rationally. Sometimes, something I forgot to mention is that he was born the same month and year as me, just 8 days apart. So we'd been close friends since we were young kids. That was my dog underwater. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Number 7. I had a friend who was very sick at the hospital this past spring, not COVID, but sepsis from an operation on his back. I went to bed, and in that in-between stage where you're not awake and you're not quite asleep, I could sense him standing by the side of my bed. We said a few words to each other, and then he hugged me. When I woke up the next morning, I found out that he'd passed not long after I'd gone to bed. Many people would say it was just a dream, but I know better in my heart. I felt that he was actually there, and I felt the hug. He was one of the most caring, inspiring people that I'd known, and it was just like him to say goodbye to the people who loved him. Ultra Runner 42. That's really cool. Number 8. Excuse me. Hold on. I got to get a drink.
Gotta get a drink. Oh, yes. It's hot in here.
It is hot, isn't it? Yeah. That's with the air on, too. These air conditioners are not really pulling their weight anymore. Number 8. My mom's cousin woke up sobbing for no reason the time my grandpa, her uncle, passed away. She told her husband he died. And then 2 hours or so later, someone from my family called her and told her that he did pass away that morning. That was when she told us the story about her sobbing at the time my papa passed away. Definitely weird, but also really sad and kind of endearing in a weird way. Yep. That was by Fluffy Metal Kitten. I like these names. These names crack me up. Number 9, my father is a complete skeptic and yet also is one of the most open-minded people I know. He's very hard-headed and stubborn and not prone to making things up for attention. When I was maybe 8 or 9, my mother, brother, father, and myself were all watching TV in the living room. Out of nowhere, he started bawling. Dad tears are no joke, especially a dad who I'd seen cry maybe 2 times prior. I remember him saying, "I just feel really, really sad all of a sudden. It's like someone passed and then passed through me." The next day he found out his best friend, Les, had passed the night before, a few minutes before he began crying.
Wow.
So bad that's snazzy names. Huh. All right, number 10's a little longer. How are we doing for time? Let me see. Oh, I guess I'll finish this list on Friday. I'm going to finish this on Friday because it's still there's still 5 more or 6 more, I guess, to go. So I guess we'll stop it there. So Don,
Yes, sir.
what did you learn tonight?
Well, a lot of things. You know that we haven't seen 200 yetis yet,
We haven't.
and there are scary things in the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
and it's dark as hell when you're on the ocean.
It is. And don't go in an ocean in a little floaty raft.
Yeah, a little floaty thing. Yeah,
100 feet from a big...
yeah. Stay on the boat.
Stay on the boat.
Just turn the lights off on the boat. You'll be fine.
Yeah, just pretend you're floating on the water.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, aliens are fused with their organic ships.
Yes, we did learn that, didn't we?
That's true, yeah.
Yep.
His name was Emmett Smith, so keep an eye on him. If it's real, he won't be around much longer. What else did I learn? I learned, well, there you have it.
That was quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm glad you learned that much.
Yeah. See, I do listen.
I learned tonight that Don listens.
There you go.
That's my takeaway, folks. I don't know.
Yes, Karen, I know all sorts of useless stuff too.
Well, is any of it useless? You don't know until the game's over. It might not be useless.
And then everybody turns around and says, "Thanks, Cliff."
I remember that. Can't think of her name. There was a woman in Guiding Light that started the role. Oh, this is something else. I'm just looking through here to see if we've missed anything from chat.
No, they're pretty chatty.
Pretty chatty. That's okay, though. We love chatty. We like that you guys are chatty and having a good night. We hope you've enjoyed our presentation tonight. Remember, if you haven't, check out the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We have a podcast as well.
Yep.
This isn't it. So if you're watching this and going, hey, I checked out the Paranormal Portal podcast, this is just our YouTube channel. This is the live streams. But we do have a audio-only podcast that's released weekly, Sunday nights, generally around the stroke of midnight. I get them all up. But you can find them on Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, CastBox, and a bunch more.
We are everywhere.
We should be. And, we have a lot of fun doing the shows, and we hope that you enjoy those as well. How many are out there now, Don?
How many podcasts?
Yeah.
Well, we did 155-ish for the first season. Then we did 61. So we're, 210?
Yeah, 210 or more. The first season we did so many because we were doing 3 a week.
Gosh, yes.
3 a week.
Oh, my gosh.
Plus 7 live streams
every
week. So it was 10 shows a week we were doing. It was a lot of work.
Well, it was mostly that guy over there, but I had my hand in it, but I wasn't doing all the shows. I was doing 2 of ours and then 2 of Paisley's at the time. So,
and you were doing the podcast,
right? Doing the podcast.
Yeah, Don does all the producing on the podcast. So, if you don't like what you're hearing,
it's Don's fault. Is that what you're saying? It's this guy over here. Check this out. Oh wow!
No, I'm just kidding. Everything sounded wonderful. But yeah, please check those out. It will help us out a bunch.
Definitely.
We of course, if you do listen to them and you like the podcasts, please leave us a review if you can on the platform that you check it out on. Reviews go a long way, and we've done really well. I think we're at 4.8 out of 5 stars or something like that, or 4.7. Cool. So, it's been a pleasure doing those shows as well. We take a lot of pride in all the shows we do. We hope to keep you as wildly entertained as possible. So whether you're checking us out, and if you're new to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. We'd love to have you stick around.
Absolutely.
It's just, we are excited for this to continue growing, both on YouTube and the podcast. So any support you can give us, or if you know somebody else that's into the paranormal and doesn't know about us, let them know. We'd really appreciate that. So, and if you've got experiences of your own that you'd like to share and wouldn't mind being a guest on the podcast, please email us at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. We'd love to, hear your stories and feature you on the podcast. So that's always an option. Excuse me. Hold on. Got a cough. It's what I do. All right, folks. I don't know. I feel like it's been a full and robust show, Don.
It has been a full and robust show, yes.
Again, I'm glad you made it. So
yeah.
I mean, you certainly could have bowed out for the night. Just like, no, I'll be at work. I'm going to get done late.
I was only less than 5 minutes away.
That's true. Well, thank you for being here, brother. And thank you all for being here. Again, please like, subscribe. Please share these streams as well. Feel free to put them on your social media. That helps us out a ton. And, we look forward to coming back tomorrow night. I'll be here for the Night Terrors. Don, you'll be here Friday night? Or Saturday?
I do believe that's the plan.
Okay, either Friday or Saturday, Don will be here. It can vary from week to week, but one of those days he'll be here, perceptively or supposedly, whatever I'm trying to say.
There you go.
Anything in closing, brother?
Teespring for your gear.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely that.
Oh, I'm wearing the Metal Falls shirt.
From last year.
From last year.
Yeah.
because coming up on the 18th,
Oh,
and
yeah.
19th, and the 20th.
Yes, 18th, 19th, 20th. Yeah.
Right. So the shows are all. Oh, great show tonight. Thank you, Brent and Don. Thank you, Karen. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for coming in. Hey all. Hey Creeper. Good to see you. Thanks guys. Love to all. Who was here? Let's do quick shout outs.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Don's going to do quick shout outs to all you who did. I know some have left already, but only 5.
Well, Bomber left, and I think Mari left.
Okay.
But thank you to all those. Zara left. But we do have, there's Aussie Tiger, Android Purity, Crow Creek Cryptids, Digger Dogs here, Elaine. Hello, Elaine. Oh, look, somebody new named G in blue with a wrench.
She came in with a wrench. Wow.
Karen's here, Maggie M10, Michelle C. I think they're both Aussies. Mr. Paranormal Portal, Rachel gets it right. Raphael Hans, Raspberries the Creeper, and YTFP Chris. How are ya?
Good to see y'all.
Nice to see ya.
Digger Dog is here. Ruger, did you say Ruger?
Oh, I missed Ruger. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I mean he was in earlier. He might not.
He was here. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody for coming in, and again, please spread the word. And I'll see you tomorrow night for the Night Terrors. So join me then.
There you
and
go.
We'll have a hell of a time.
There you go.
A hell of a time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. We're gonna call it a night. Take care. We love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And hope you'll join me.
All righty.
Spread the word.
Spread the word. Good night.
Roll the credits.
Roll the credits.